Well, this John Black Superchemist, I think this is part 9 of the biggest trick of gender theory. And remember, the whole thing is that women have to be in their place and men have to be in their place. Not because the man needs it, is forcing it. The woman is forcing it, okay? Her psychology will not, we all know this, man, if you really think about it. I mean, they can't accept a man that has to make more, has to be this, has to be that. He has to be in his place. We know that. Come on. The thing is, if she's not in her place, he can't really be in his place. Basically they're saying, I want you to be in your place, but every time you have a decision to make or whatever, I need to be actually in charge. I need you to be the leader, but I need you to let me lead. Like, so that shows right there that, yeah, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, and they can't work. Just being, the act of working, yeah, a couple years they could do it. 5, 10 years, it starts taking a toll. 50% of them can't handle it at all. They're going to be total basket cases. By the time they're my age, they're all going to be, like, half of the Gen Z is going to be homeless. Because they're total nutcases. And men are starting to wake up. We ain't going to help yens anymore. I mean, obviously some will right now. But by the time my age, no man will ever help a woman. Ever. I mean, just to help them. Nope. That's going to end. It's already ended with me. I will never help a woman. I mean, my family, yeah. A woman, no. I don't care if she's got a flat tire. I don't care. She's broke down on the side. I don't care. They have no respect for us. But anyways, so the trick is here, because all this hate, right, for men, right, and the fear that they have to get a job and get a career, go to college. So they don't even want a relationship. And they're told, just wait till you're 30. Wait till you're 30. You got your career going, you got your money, your house. No one wants them at that point, though. Yeah, that's the trick. So, they spend all that time, and they're not going without sex. If you wait till you're 30, there's no. So what happens? They're told again that men and women are the same, and instead of them staying in their spot, they want to move over here more like a man and be all sexual and stuff. But nobody tells them about the pair bonding, And that mechanism, that's not just a biomechanism, that's a survival biomechanism. So when they go against that, they're just destroying that biomechanism. These women, Gen Z, all of them, they've all slept with they think 20, 40 guys at 22 years old or something. That's not that many. You should actually have sex with more guys. They cannot imprint on a man. You know what I mean? And then once they lose that biomechanism, they'll go through man after man after man after man because they can't imprint. So they will literally have sex more and more and more. It's kind of like a drug addict. You know what I mean? They're trying to get that high again, that imprint high, but they'll never get it. And then they're sitting there saying, I don't know why I hate him, he's perfect, but I just don't love him. You don't love him because you don't have the ability to love anyone, because you just destroyed your biomechanism, your survival biomechanism, so now you're not going to survive. Yeah. So anyways, what happens is they go through up to 30 or whatever, right? And then now the act of working masculizes them, right? Because it's a dog word out there, right? And as they work also, since they don't have the ability, they don't have the mental capacity, the endurance to do it. Each year they work, their mental their mental capabilities go down and down and down and down, right? Until they're like 30 years old. They're all masculine. They can't handle anything. They're a victim on, right? And we can see the videos. And this is what I'm talking about, the non-binary, right? We all know the blue-haired, metal-faced, tattoos all over that chick, right? Doing videos. She's a victim. They can't handle anything. They're melting down over nothing, right? You pronouned them wrong. They're, even though they look just like a girl, they're more feminine than most girls. They misgendered me. Then go look at these videos. Look at the videos of the women who are doing videos that said, I was with my husband as soon as the kids got out of the house, or as soon as the kids were like 10, I divorced him, but he was so perfect. Our marriage was perfect. Our life was perfect. Everything was perfect. I just didn't know. I don't know. I was bored. I just don't know. What it is you're non-binary. You weren't in your place, and that makes you crazy. Working makes you crazy. If you're stay at home, whatever, you just constantly, every time the man be's a man, you think those traits, you've been brainwashed to think all those traits are evil. So you think he's being evil, even though he's not doing anything. He's just being a man. So you yell at him, this and that. But then when he moves over, so that yins are both non-binary, right? He's not being a man anymore. He's just letting you whatever. You can't handle that either, because now you lost respect. You can't have respect for anyone that isn't being a man, right? Being a leader. You can't. They can't. They cannot do it. They just can't. So. They destroy that. They'll either be at 30 years old, they'll have 0 kids, right? Or they'll have a bunch of marriages where they're all single mothers. They're either single mothers or they have 0 kids. They're all basket cases. But the ones that say that their marriage is perfect, watch their videos. Go on their sites. Don't just watch one video. Find out who they are. And go to their whatever, like their Instagram and their whatever, their YouTube and TikTok or whatever, right? And you'll see video after video. They'll be crying in one video, meltdowns in another one. They act exactly like the non-binary, green-haired, metal-faced, tattooed chick. Exactly the same. Exactly. And then what about that one that, she didn't have any boyfriends and whatever. She just slept around. And, at 30 years old, she's actually got a bunch of money and a house and this and that, living alone. She's lonely as hell, on there crying about how feminism lied to her, and now it's too late. See, that's the thing. Once they're that old, they're all masculinized. They hate men even more because they've never been even around a man. You know what I mean? It's easy to hate someone that you never see. You know what I mean? But, so... it just destroys the whatever. But watch those videos too. Don't just watch the one video. Go to their sites, their channels. You'll see that they act exactly like these blue-haired chicks, man. One video they'll be saying how life is great and blah blah blah. I'm going out and let 10 guys screw me tonight. Because that's what I like. And then. Then the next video they're crying, I can't take this and blah blah blah. They're total basket cases. Total basket cases, man. Alright? And that's just another trick. And then they'll have these 30-year-old women, they're freezing their eggs, right? The rich ones, right? 30 grand or whatever. And they wait till they're like 30. See, that when you're 30, your eggs are useless at that point. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even try to get pregnant past there. That's like geriatric pregnancy, man. Yeah, I don't know what the exact whatever is. You know what I mean? 35 though, there should be a law. I'm just joking. There shouldn't be a law. But I'm just saying there should be a law, at least in the woman's mind, saying don't ever get pregnant after that age. You're definitely going to have a retarded kid. You know what I mean? But they'll freeze their eggs. And their eggs are useless at that age. If you want to freeze your eggs, you freeze them when you're 20, 24. You know what I mean? You don't freeze them when you're 30, okay? They're drying up. You have barely any eggs left. They're useless, okay? But you could get pregnant at 30. That's no problem. At least till 35, you have a chance or whatever. But if you freeze them, you have like 0 chance. Even if you had young fertile eggs and you were inseminated, you have percentage of that it just doesn't take. You know what I mean? You can have sex 100 million times and it doesn't take. You know what I mean? But so having a 30-year-old eggs that have been frozen for 5 years or whatever. And what's funny is if you're 30, even if you did find or you waited and whatever, when are you gonna inseminate yourself? You didn't freeze it so you can inseminate yourself a year from now, right? So I mean, at the shortest amount of time that you'd probably be 5 years. But if you're 30, by the time you do that, you're 35. You can't. Even if you did it through sex and you didn't freeze it, whatever, you're gonna have a retarded baby, pretty much. It makes no sense, man. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. See, they make it happen. Okay, just like all their things they think they're a victim, they create it. Okay, they create it. Right, and I'm gonna go into that right now. Right, like this non-binary family that I talked about, they had cookouts and whatever. A bunch of them came in from out of state, right? And my whole family's non-binary too. So, yeah, all not married, all single mothers. You know, 3 baby mamas, 3 baby daddies, whatever. Anyways, so I'm at this thing. I'm observing. You know, each time I go to these cookout with these people, right? Let's think of this one. I'll give you one story, okay? The husband followed this woman around like a puppy dog, okay? They came in from out of state. He drove her up, most likely. She didn't even drive at all, right? They're from Florida or whatever, right? So that's what, 16 hours of driving? He probably did all of it. He probably even paid for the gas. So they come up. From sun up till sundown, he does everything that this woman wants. Wherever she goes, or anything you want for like a week or whatever it was that they were here. This was actually a while ago, like a couple years ago, and so they're on their last day, right? They're gonna leave in the morning. Again, he goes around doing everything she wants, like a little puppy dog, little Pinocchio or whatever, a little puppet, all right? Doing everything to make her happy, right? And then we're at the bar, right? It's like 9 o'clock at night or whatever it was, I don't know. And he says, I want to go home and I just want to hang out, lounge or whatever, get my stuff and make sure we're leaving in the morning, you know what I'm saying? It's a 16-hour drive, and probably he does all the driving. I bet she does like an hour here or an hour there or something. And he does 14 hours. She does 2. I don't know. But I bet you. Anyway, so he just says, I just want to. And what's funny is they were like 10 minutes away, driving time, if that, to get to the sister's house, like to drop them off where they were staying. And then 10 minutes back, it would have been 20 minutes. But she starts crying, saying how he's a jerk. How dare you, blah, 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 blah. All he wasn't saying, you need to come home and sit down with me and lounge out with me, decompress before this 16-hour drive. He wasn't saying that. He was saying, stay out all night. But for me, I would like to go home, right, but she made it into an argument. She starts crying, acting all non-binary. I thought she was. I was like, is metal growing out of her face and tattoos just appearing from nowhere? Is her hair turning green? Because she acts like she's non-binary, right? But they create their problems. See, they're self-fulfilling prophecies, right? If you hate your husband and you get into it and you say, well, men are suck, my marriage isn't going to work, well, what do you think's going to happen during that marriage? You're going to belittle that man, you're going to put him down, argue, nag, and then the marriage is going to go to shit. He's not going to be one around you, so now you want to leave him and you divorce him and you take half of his stuff. You know what I mean?